I've already done one of these castings. Or have I? Don't go away. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and I've already done a Deora. Or have I? If you think back, done one Deora, and I made a custom out of it. I don't remember exactly all the details. I just know that I made a custom out of it, and it came out great. It looks fantastic. But I've never just flat out restored a Deora. We're going to fix that today. Let's get to work. Okay, so this is actually a kid paint Deora. I believe it was originally gold. Somebody painted it green over the top of the gold, and then they painted the hatch silver. I always try to kind of keep in mind what the kid was doing, and he wanted it green, so it's going to be green. All right, so the first thing we have to do with our Deora is go ahead and get it apart. Little drop of oil on the rivets, and then I'm going to use some shielded drilling here to go ahead and get this car drilled apart. Shielded drilling is what I call using these Vix bits to drill the casting apart. And the Vix bits are actually a woodworking tool, and they're meant to go inside of a template to center a drill hole. Well, I found out that what you can do is you can use that little centering part that goes around the drill, and you can kind of nestle it down over the top of the rivet, and it kind of holds it in place and gives you a perfect platform with which to drill the rivet out. So if you're not doing it, check out my videos on it, and you can find Vix Bits on my Amazon store. So make sure you give this a try. Not only is it fantastic for drilling apart the rivets, it's also fantastic for prepping them to drill them out for screws. So the casting, of course, has a base, an interior, a glass piece, and the interior is kind of interesting in that the steering wheel is just kind of loose fit in there. It's a weird little deal. Hey, did you know that in the Deora, there's no door lines because there were no doors? The front of the car opened up in the real car. Somebody made a Deora. I don't know if you knew that. I'll try and get a picture of it and put it here for you. But yeah, the front opens up like a gull wing, and you get it in and out there. But anyhow, I digress. So we've got this thing apart. I'm using the Vix bits to prep the post. See, look at that. It cleans up the edges and dimples the post wonderfully, making it perfect and ready to go for drilling the post out. Okay, so the posts are prepped and ready to go. A little drop of oil on each one of them. I don't know why, but the oil really makes a huge difference in drilling these things apart. So I make sure I always use it. And then now I can go ahead and just drill into the posts, being very careful, using the wonderfully dimpled posts that I did with the Vix bits, and then keeping the drill aimed straight and true. So I drill right down the center of the post, going deep enough for the screw, but being careful not to go all the way through the body. All right, so with a couple more drops of oil in the drilled out posts, I can now go ahead and tap the posts. I'm using the tap handle I got from Brightvision, and look at that. Look at that. A quarter of a turn, maybe an eighth of a turn. And the bit has bit into the drilled out post, and because the tap handle is so light, it won't pull it down and out. It's wonderful. All right, the posts are drilled, tapped. I put a screw in them to keep the holes clean, and now it's time to go ahead and get this body into the stripper. Again, no more warm liquid goo, which is a very sad thing. But hey, just using the citrus strip will tuck the car down into the citrus strip and let it do its thing. Now, this particular car had a little bit of paint from the kid paint on the front and back of the base. So instead of just dropping the whole thing in there, I'm just going to dip the front and back into the citrus strip and let that sizzle off, and then we can call that good. All right, so I've pulled the body out of the stripper, took the base, I washed its ends off, I hit it with a brush and scrubbed everything down, got rid of all the citrus strip, and we can see what we have. It did a pretty good job. There's a little spot on the hatch that really didn't come off. I can just scrape that off, no problem. But we'll go ahead and dry this. We get our first look at the naked body. Not too bad. But it's going to need a little love. So after the brass bristle brush, which you know I love to do, we can now go ahead and turn our attention to Flitz and my rotary tool. This way we can, because I'm going to use Spectra Flame paint here. And to really make the Spectra Flame paint work, you really got to have a nice shiny casting to make that paint pop. So Flitz it is, rotary tool it is. Let's get a shine on this sucker. All right, I've got the Flitz out, I got the rotary tool out, the body is shined, but I might as well go ahead and do the base now since everything is out, because the base needs a little bit of love too. So we're going to go ahead and put some Flitz on the base and work that in. And the trick with the bases is this. You gotta attack it from every direction. And the reason for that is there's all these little details, and there's writing, and there's nooks and crannies and stuff like that. And so you have to come at it from many different directions so the fibers of the rotary wheel actually get in there and get into all the little crannies. Otherwise, you're going to have little spots that are really just not getting any polishing, and they're going to be little dirty looking spots, and nobody needs that in their life. Anyhow, after polishing it out and buffing it out with the microfiber cloth, we're going to go ahead and seal the base using our Renaissance wax. So basically just get it on my finger and smear it into the base, and what that's going to do is it's going to keep all the work that I've done nice longer, prevent it from oxidizing on us. Okay, so the glass was in a little bit worse shape than I thought it was. It's solid, but it's kind of really marred up, and it's got a little bit of paint on it. So we're going to hit it up with my little sanding sponges, and we're going to just sand this thing down to smooth it all out, get the paint off of it. Then we'll polish it with the Flitz. And that you can just do with a paper towel and the Flitz. You know, you don't want to use a rotary tool on the glass because you could actually melt it or scar it. So just do the glass by hand. The Flitz will make it an easy job. We're just going to buff it back and forth on the shop towel and then polish it out with the microfiber. Once it's all shiny and we're happy with it, now we can go ahead and take it for a dunk in the gauzy. Just dip it in, wick off the extra, and then we'll put it aside in a sealed container where it can dry and not get any woolly boogers stuck in it. So I'm over at the paint booth, and we're going to mix up a little Spectra Flame green, just the regular green, because they have a lot of different greens. We're just using green, like the kid paint green. That's the green we're going for. And we're going to lay it on in our normal fashion with tack coats, medium coats, and then the wet coats to get a really nice shiny finish on it. Now, here is the tough part about a Deora. The hatch needs to be painted black. I'm going to use the Magic Black from the Redline Shop. But the problem is masking it, because you really need no edge or just the slightest edge. I'm going for just the slightest edge. So it's a little bit difficult to mask this off. But hey, You know, anything worth doing is worth doing right. Take your time, be patient, get it right, and get the hatch all masked off so we can run it over to the paint booth and lay down a nice light coat of magic black. All right, we're back from the paint booth. The magic black is down, and my theory is get the tape off as quickly as you can. You can't do it when it's still wet because it can make a mess. But you don't want the tape on any longer than possible because that can lead to trouble. So pretty much as soon as I'm done cleaning my equipment, I'm removing the tape. And in this case, it came out fantastic. It looks so good. Love it. Anyhow, now we can get back and turn our attention to the base. Now, you may have noticed when I got this casting, it didn't have any wheels on it. It did have its hubs, and they were in good condition. Axles were a little mispointed. We'll have to tune those up. But everything's ready to go. It just needs wheels. So we're going to pull out some chrome wheels for this casting. And the Deora uses, I think it's the only casting that does this, it uses 4 of the small wheels. So we've got 4 chrome small wheels. We're putting them on. I'm using my straightening tool to act as a spacer, and then I can straighten out each axle, and we're in business. All right, we're just about done here. We can go ahead and start putting this thing back together. We start by popping the glass back in, and then we've got to kind of set the little steering wheel back into the interior and hope it stays there while we put that back together. And we just drop that in now. And then we can go ahead and put the base over the top. And then we'll screw this casting together and we can see what we've done. All right, I'm calling this one finished. And I really love it. I think it came out fantastic. Let's take a look. Well, everybody, here it is. My fully restored Deora surfboards and all. And I think it came out amazing. And I'm going to be glad to add this to my personal collection. I really love it. It came out super. The Deora is just, it's one of those castings everybody loved, okay? It really is. It just, I don't know. Everybody loved the Deora. And I hope you loved this video. If you did, please give it a giant thumbs up, click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss one of my videos. As always, if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. Please put them down below. Okay, that's going to do it. It's a rainy day here in Vegas, and I'm going to wrap things up for the day and go downstairs and enjoy the weather. I hope wherever you're at, the weather is spectacular and much to your liking. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying Be good.